y'all, welcome back. If you don't know me, I'm TK, and this channel is all about doing some makeup, doing some food, and having a lot of fun. So if that sounds like a good time to you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and make sure your notifications are turned on. Give me a like on this video. Are we doing a pink look tonight? Yes, we are. How is everybody tonight? Are y'all doing well? I hope you're holding up. I know different parts of the world are in different levels of lockdown. Vaccines are rolling out for the thing that cannot be mentioned on YouTube. And it's, I'm just hoping that things will get back to normal soon. I'm kind of tired of not eating out for lunch. I mean, it's not like I ate out all the time, but geez, I'd like to maybe just go have lunch out somewhere and sit down for a minute. And I'm sure a lot of you are feeling the same way. Tonight's pink look is brought to you by Non-Spawn, the Midas Cosmetics Smokey Glow Palette. I was very inspired by Robert Welsh's most recent Ghost Makeup Monday look that he used this palette. He used a lot of those gorgeous, gorgeous pinks in there. They're all really beautiful. I really wanted this palette for this color down here called Dofa, which is a black base with a red glitter. And I went back and forth on buying it because I really wasn't sure about the other colors that are in it. There's actually duochromes in it. I didn't know that. And as it turned out, my niece bought me a palette over the holidays. So it was really nice. That was a beautiful gift, wonderful gift. And I really appreciate it. And this is a look we are serving tonight. So today's video, I always film at night, if you didn't know, is the brand influencer tag. The video that I have in front of me, the questions, it's 12 questions. The video that I have in front of me is Tara Brooks' video. If somebody else has done this before, that's great. Whoever started it, you're the real MVP. So I thought it'd be fun to talk about some, about celebrities, about influencers. It's been kind of a big deal recently with celebrities getting into the makeup game. There's lots of thoughts on who and why, and whether or not they're just, it's just a cash grab for them during a time whenever they're not filming or they're not performing. And makeup is a huge industry, $3 billion industry, and it's easy to do. As we all know, we've seen some brands lately that just throw up a private label palette from Alibaba and slap $120 price on it and think that that's, okay or whatever. I mean, you kind of have to respect people's hustle, but there's a lot of opinions out there on whether or not celebrities who already have a pretty big share of a different market should be getting into beauty, where there's lots of great little indie brands that are, they're just trying to make it too. And whether or not that the celebrity brands actually affect the sales of the smaller indie brands. So I thought this would be a really neat tag to do, since it talks a lot about that, and I have some opinions. And if you've been here long enough, you know I have opinions. So let's get into it.
Yeah. Oh, they don't know me like they think they know me.
Hey, we're just going to start right out. The first question is, what are your general thoughts on celeb influencer beauty brands? So let's separate that for a minute. Celebrities is one thing. I feel like if you're a celebrity who has a reputation for for having amazing makeup or doing amazing makeup or being very into makeup, then that's one thing for you to start a beauty brand, and I don't have any problem with that. An influencer, so I'm going to assume we're talking about a beauty influencer, somebody who's already familiar with makeup, somebody who's already familiar with what works, what doesn't. I don't have a problem with them starting a brand either. What I don't like is so overall, celebrity that's known for makeup, Lady Gaga, even Boy George, okay, wanted to start a makeup line, I'd be like, fine, because he's used enough makeup to know what works, what doesn't, what's good, what's not. Influencers, obviously, the ones that are already in it, drag queens, so on, they really know their stuff. What I don't like, and I don't like this across any industry, is people who know fuck all about something getting into an industry. I feel like to be a good, responsible business owner and to be somebody who is going to be responsible to your customers, I just think you need to know something about what you're about to do. So I guess that's my opinion on that. If you're just a celebrity and everybody's like, why would you start a makeup brand? You don't even wear makeup, or you don't even like makeup. You never talked about makeup, and now here you want to start a makeup brand because it's a hot industry right now, and it's still selling during that thing that cannot be mentioned. Yeah, that I don't care for that. I don't feel like it's taking away from anything else. I just think like as it makes me judge you as a person for doing something kind of shitty. So the brand that gives off the most cash grab vibes, okay. Man, I was kind of torn on this one. Here's the thing. I don't know for sure what is a brand that has a celebrity front person and what is actually a celebrity who has started a brand. I have to say that the most cash grabby one that I felt, gosh, there was an indie brand just recently that I really felt made a cash grab, to be fair. But since we're talking about celebrity brands, I would have to say for me it's probably House Labs. But here's the thing. I get the feeling that House Labs is a brand and they have Lady Gaga at the front as the face of the brand. I could be way wrong about that. I don't really know. I'm not sure anybody really knows for sure. People keep saying, what's Lady Gaga's brand? But here's the thing. She's really known for over-the-top makeup. And this brand, this line has been just a little better than a private label with a really high price tag. I'm not. I hope that it starts to represent what we all kind of know her for and love her for, which is her really like over the top persona. But right now we're just getting nothing but boring from that brand. So the brand that you own the most products from, I haven't looked at all my products. It could be e.l.f., but I think the brand that I own the most palettes from is Lunar Beauty. And if you've been here, you know, brand you haven't tried but still want to. A brand I haven't tried but still want to. I don't know. I bought a lot of stuff that's like indie this past year. I've done a lot of indie stuff. I'll tell you what. Okay, brand that I haven't tried, but I want to, would probably be Natasha Denona. I've always felt like she's kind of taken the piss with just using her name and then putting these really expensive price tags on it, because all I've ever heard about the brand in the past is it's fine. It's fine. But her price tags aren't fine. Price tags are fine. So, but I've seen a couple collections, and I thought she was kind of getting a little boring, but I saw a couple of collections recently that I liked, and I thought, man, I would really like to, I think I'd like to try that. So, Natasha Denona, for sure. And let's see, would be the brand that I haven't tried, but I still do want to. A brand that you'd be more willing to try if the owner wasn't so problematic. I can tell you this hands down, Jeffree Star. That Jawbreaker palette, I love it. I love the spirit of it, the colors, the vibrancy. I've seen videos where people say, oh, how great it performs and so on. But I will not buy anything that he produces. It's sad. If he was not problematic, I probably would own a lot of Jeffree Star. Brand with the most controversial launch. And I've mentioned this in a video before. The brand that I think had the most controversial launch was Rare Beauty. I think that it wasn't, the brand itself didn't do anything controversial, but the fans jumped in and created a real toxic atmosphere around the launch. And I felt bad for Selena. I felt bad for the brand themselves, because I come from a marketing background, and I understand how, you put a lot of work into a product launch. Everything's perfect. You're doing art, you're doing packaging, and then you have this outside force that either you didn't predict or couldn't control, and that can really come in and create a kind of a negativity around your launch. I feel like I said whenever they did the first launch, if I was an influencer, I wouldn't bother with them ever again, because the fans are too toxic. They just came after every influencer that had anything remotely negative to say. And I did notice that when they launched the palettes, very little was said by anybody other than, okay, it's a palette, it's nice, whatever, here's a look with it. It was not the big buzz that everybody, that it really should have been. And that's a shame. So I would say that was the brand with the most controversial launch, but not because of anything that they actually did. If I had to say the controversial launch, I guess the cremated palette, it was ill-timed. It was also, he didn't really gauge that right, although I know that was in the works way before we ever had a pandemic. But I think when he was naming it, cremated, it was like how we say, oh, we're creased and deceased. I don't think, it wasn't meant to have anything to do with this situation that we're in. It was unfortunate. But as such, yeah, it was kind of problematic and a bit controversial to launch at that time. At the same time, even though I don't give two shits about Jeffree Star for other reasons, as a business person, I have to say I can understand why he had to launch it, why he had to get it out there. You've got makeup that you planned to launch 2 years ago. It's been in the works. You finally got it produced. You can't help what's actually, time passes no matter what's going on in the world. So all that print and everything was done, and packaging and all that stuff was planned, finished way before all this. You got to get it out there. It's going to sit and rot in a warehouse if you don't. So it was controversial, but again, I understand why. A brand that wouldn't have had the success it had if it didn't have a famous face behind it. And once again, I have to kind of go back to House Labs for that one, because the first thing they launched, the first collection they launched was boring. It wasn't anything we hadn't already seen from, other even high-end brands like Pat McGrath, MAC. We already saw lipstick. What? And it wasn't anything in really earth-shattering shades or anything like that. I mean, I just think it wasn't, I just think that there wouldn't have been so much of a buzz if Lady Gaga wasn't the face of it. And again, like I say, I'm not sure if House Labs is her brand that she started, or if the brand has partnered with her to be the face of it. Either way, I don't think that launch. I don't think anybody would know who House Labs was if they had just launched those lipsticks. I think it would have been like another boring. Honestly, looked like private label lipstick. They would have just been another indie brand on Instagram. A brand that doesn't rely on its owner for success. Well, I think you can look at the brands like MAC, like Estee Lauder. To be fair, in business, if the owner is involved with the brand, then every brand relies on its owner for success, because the owner is the one that says what to do with the money, plans the next rollout, plans the next launch. I mean, they should be involved. They're the ones that determine what products are going to go out. So, but could the owner change and the brand would continue to be as successful? Yeah, then you have to look at like your larger ones, like Estee Lauder, who's some other ones? Urban Decay. I mean, if the owner changed and they kept all the same quality and all the same products and launched products that stayed in line with the brand, then I think Urban Decay would be just fine. Yeah. So those are some brands. Your bigger brands, MAC is another one that could change hands and no one would notice. No one barely notices MAC's launches anyways, because they're just reskins of older products that they've had out there forever. But that answers the question. A brand that doesn't rely on its owner for its success. A brand that surprisingly doesn't align with its owner's persona or aesthetic. This is a tough one, because honestly, you'd really have to know the owner. You'd have to know the owner really well. And I haven't seen too many brands. I want to see what my niece has to say about this, because I really don't have an answer for it. I don't know owners of brands that, I mean, think about it. Jeffree Star is pretty vulgar. No, he doesn't own the brand Pretty Vulgar. He is a pretty vulgar person. And the names of his lipsticks and the names of his palette shades all go right in line with it, So I don't really know a brand offhand that I could say, oh, they don't line up with their owners. Well, I could say this. I'm just going to be a cheeky bitch for a minute. I could say this, that Estee Lauder has beautiful, elegant packaging, classic beauty type shades. Like, if you think about walking into Macy's in the 1940s and finding the perfect red lipstick, that is Estee Lauder. That is their brand and their product line aesthetic. But as we all know, their owners are just big piles of shit. So maybe there's one where the brand doesn't really line up with the owner's persona, and maybe we should be thankful for it. A brand that deserves more hype. I keep saying this. I keep saying don't sleep on BH Cosmetics. They have amazing prices. They have tremendous quality. I feel like they have incredible brushes. Their brush sets are gorgeous. To me, they feel like a luxury brush set. And honestly, I feel like we don't really see them enough. But I love them, and I haven't been disappointed with one thing I've ordered from them ever ever in life. Another brand that I feel like doesn't get enough hype or recognition, but I think they're starting to. I think they're really starting to gain traction. Is Nomad Cosmetics. Bitch, like that's all you can say when you open up their palettes. Bitch, because they have really a fantastic, amazing formula, and they really put so much work and so much effort into the packaging, the shades, the shade names. All of it goes together in those fantastic, amazing destinations. Even if you're not into travel, but you would just like to travel one day, that is a fantastic brand that I feel like just doesn't get enough hype and just doesn't get enough. It's just not out there enough. But I think they will. I think they're gonna. I think they're ready for a come up, and I think it's gonna happen soon. So I'll be excited to see. I'm always excited to see where they're gonna go in the future. A brand that doesn't live up to the hype. So here's the thing. It is hit or miss with Revolution Beauty, Revolution Pro, some whatever brand that I Heart Revolution. It's all the same thing. I feel like their palettes, I don't own anything from them other than an eye serum, which I do love, by the way. So, and I do have some of their skincare, and actually I like the skincare. But their palettes are a little bit hit or miss. The formulas can sometimes be very chalky. They feel a little bit Morphe-esque. And then other times they have other palettes have formulas that are just amazing, and I love it. So I feel like for their 3 different brands, and you see them everywhere, and you see them at like Ulta. But I feel like for the big brand that I perceive them to be, and that's how they come across, it's just they just fall a little bit short. That's all. But you know what? They're doing new things. They're always. I have not tried any of the new like liners or whatever that they've got, like some new. They've got some new eye products that I haven't tried. So who knows? I mean, last year, I think nobody. In 2020, I don't think that anybody put too much money into innovation or development, and I wouldn't have as a business person. I would have kind of been like, hey, let's just sit back on what we already produce, what we already know is good, because if you experiment too much at a time like that when people are trying to decide where to spend money and they're not spending money very freely, you sort of have to stick with what you know, or what you call resting on your laurels. And I think some brands did that. I do think some brands took the opportunity to come out and shine. Midas definitely came out last year with some amazing new products. They went all in printing, went all in packaging. Lunar Beauty didn't miss a step. 2020, whatever, you wouldn't have even known it. That flippin' Eternal Eclipse palette, holy crap, like, they knocked it out of the park. But a lot of brands, I think, just kind of sat back and said, okay, let's just rein it in for now until we see where all this goes. And so I think that 2021, as we move past this era of pandemic, then as we move past that, I think that we're going to see a lot more innovation just sort of explode from brands. I'm excited to see it. So, yeah, I'm going to say Revolution doesn't live up to the hype right now, but I think they will. I think they will come out. And this is the last one, who is one celebrity and or influencer that you'd love to see come out with their own beauty brand in the future? And you don't even have to ask me twice. That is Robert Welsh. Robert. The reason that I say Robert Welsh too is because yes, he's a professional MUA, but he is an absolute, I mean, he strikes me, I don't know him personally, but he strikes me as an absolute perfectionist in this game, where if he were to come out with a an eyeshadow line or a beauty line, you can bet your ass it is going to be, the quality of it is going to just be through the roof. And I'm waiting for that day because, you know, I really would love to see what he would produce. As much of a like stickler as he is for detail and for formula and for performance, I would love to see the product that he would actually develop and produce. And my credit card is waiting, Robert. So, yeah. So that is it. I would love to know what you guys think down in the comments. If you'd like to argue with me, that's fine. Or if there's something I missed. I do have a limited experience in this, so next week, I think next week or maybe the following, Mascaras and Mixers is going to do this tag, and I'm really interested to see what she comes up with, because she's been in the makeup game for a lot longer than I have. So so that'll be neat to see. And if you think I missed anybody or if you disagree with me, go ahead, put it in the comments. I'm always open for discussion. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope that wherever you are, you're having a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, and a great night. And I will see you in my next one. Bye, y'all.